Here's what's coming up on today's show.
Did you know the new magic number for retirement went from $1 million needed for retirement now to $1.5 million? And it went that way from over just a couple of years. This is based on a survey that was done recently. And the question would be, should you be concerned about that you need more money to retire? Does it really even matter if you have a magic number? And if not, is there something else you should be focusing on? That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode.
This is the Money Master Podcast from Brindle and Bay Wealth Management with Tori Tenhagen, Connie Davis, and certified financial planner Nick Davis.
Welcome back to the Money Master Podcast, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Connie here with Nick and Tori, and today we're talking about the magic number needed to retire.
Sounds ominous.
But is 1.5 really necessary for a comfortable retirement, or is it not? Should we set our goals on a magic number, or is there a better way to know if you're on track? I think this will be a great conversation. People are always asking, right?
Yeah.
How much do I need? Do I have enough?
I feel like retirement and financial planning would be really easy if there was just a set number.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Right?
nice?
That'd be great. You're good.
But
We're done.
ultimately, we have to simplify things to those types of things, right? Like we complain a lot about the 4% rule,
Right.
because it leaves a lot of things out, but we have to use some kind of number.
There has to be some kind of guideline
in
or
general.
jumping off point.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, people do focus on it, and there's headlines and always articles talking about how much you need, how much the average person needs to retire. And, why do they tell us that? Is it because we're insinuating that it's a good thing to think about, meaning how many dollars you should have saved before you can stop working? And can you just kind of break that down to a simple formula?
And I think it's interesting, but also not surprising that within such a short amount of time, the number has gone from 1 million to 1.5. What was the year that it was a million?
I think the article said 2019 or 2020.
Yeah, so
right at 2020,
ago.
4 years ago, so it was a million. Now it's 1.47 million, I think, technically.
Yeah, but that's one of the first points on our list of things to talk about. But
why did it change?
my grocery bills changed that much in
Oh
3
my
4 years.
gosh.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
there have been massive changes.
And everybody talks about it's not just the groceries, it's the gas, it's the travel prices, it's everything.
I told Austin the other day I went to get groceries just for like a few, like the weekend things, and I was like, that's what would have cost me for a whole week of groceries a few years ago. Like that was a whole trip, and I got 3 or 4 bags of stuff. Like it's
yes.
Yeah, people are feeling it. So today we're going to talk about like why did it change, and then should you focus on it, and if you shouldn't, then what else would be better for you to focus on when it comes to your retirement? Tori kind of hinted on the first thing, which was the grocery prices have gone up. So the first one I think is inflation, like meaning this. Now, but let's just be clear. This survey was public opinion, meaning they asked people, how much do you think you need to retire? And then they averaged it out. And the average used to be just under $1 million. That was in 2020, before 2020. And then in 2024, the survey came out that the average was, close to $1.5 million. So that first reason. Well, first of all, because this is public opinion, this is basically the psychology of people.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is everybody's fears coming out about certain topics and things. I need more money now.
And it's resulting from real things they're experiencing or even just beliefs they have, right? So the first one is something I think is real that we're experiencing, which is inflation, right? I mean, the numbers on the charts have come down, right? They've showed us that inflation is coming down, but the prices haven't come back down on milk. Eggs.
I've just seen articles this week, though, that some grocery stores are lowering some prices, which we'll see what that does. But yeah, for the last couple of years, it's not slowed down.
Yeah, and I will tell you that gas prices yesterday were $2.75 a gallon here in Texas, and diesel was actually about the same, and I was very shocked. So that seems like it's come down a bit as well. It makes me want to look into why that's happened, because gas, fuel is always fuel, and food always kind of, and housing kind of.
My dad works in the oil industry, so he's always like, if gas is a good price, I keep my job. So.
Yeah. So, but I think that rude awakening is that we're feeling that rude awakening of inflation in a very, very short period of time. And I think that has influenced how much people are actually allocating in their mind that they're going to need to be able to give themselves raises in inflation, which is why they're thinking they need that higher amount. Because truthfully, interest rates have also gone up, right? Which means that technically you can get more safe money, less risky money for fewer dollars when interest rates rise up. So that's not technically a reason for people to need more money, but it does play into the mindset, and inflation always should be built into your plan. The second reason that I think it influenced this survey is there's a lot of talk about Social Security worries. There's always this
worry
talk
that it's going to go away.
We're within 10 years of that, the big deadline of Social Security being reduced. And I think people are also saying, well, maybe I can't, they're feeling a little less secure about.
And relying on that.
Yeah. Now, is it true, right? Now, if you watch my YouTube channel, you would know it's not very true because they're probably going to fix it. There's a lot of ways they can fix Social Security solvency issues. And even if Social Security were to fail in terms of the trusts, there's still active money going into it on a regular basis. Won't get into really the reasons as to why I don't think it'll fail in this episode, but that's the second reason I think people feel like they need more.
And I think that's a general fear people have is just, what's the government doing? Can I trust what's going on? That's just a fear we hear from retirees. It's like, I don't know what's at play here that I have no say in, and so I'm just not going to trust it. I can't.
So that would influence
So I'll protect
that number.
myself by having more money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the third one is a prolonged bull market, meaning people might say they have the courage or confidence that they could have more money because we've had such a long bull market. The market has just gone up, up, up for the last 15 years. And we haven't had a really prolonged bear market. And so we've had these short bear markets, but we haven't had a prolonged bear market. And so I think what happens is psychologically people are estimating, well, I earned this much money in this time period, so I can probably go ahead and get my 401k to be up to the next place before I retire. And so that could potentially have influenced the way people think about how much money they need to have before they retire.
Yeah, within the last few years. They haven't necessarily seen it go up, up, up like it was in the past.
Now, the point that I made in my YouTube video about this is that it's very subjective. The number is very subjective, right? Because it's like a double-edged sword. It's helpful on one hand and not helpful on the other. It's subjective because it's based on the way people feel, maybe not necessarily
actual
math.
Numbers.
Right. If you study Social Security, you might feel different about it. But if you only look at the headlines, you would maybe be a little bit more fearful.
Well, and people always want a benchmark to put themselves up against. People ask us all the time, like, am I really okay? Like, how do I measure up to your other clients? How do I, because they want to know. Yeah. They want a guideline of like, okay, I have that number, I'm good.
Yeah. How do I measure up?
And so they want a comparison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. People often put that magic number in their head, and maybe they don't even need that number to retire happily, and they could have maybe retired earlier. Mm-hmm. So the reason I say it's a double-edged sword is that, it can be setting a number that's really high or higher can be discouraging and disempowering, right? Like it could actually cause a person to just feel like I just want to give up because they don't know how to practically step forward.
Or maybe, it's so big or it's too far away.
Yeah. So it can really break down their motivation. But what's weird is that on the other hand, for other people, if they feel like that number is within grasp or they feel like they have the power to get that number, that could be very motivational, right? Which is that's a universal thing about every single person benefits from is just knowing which target you're shooting for, which is something we talk about in financial planning all the time, is that if a financial planner can just help you to set a goal, or if you can set a goal and you believe in that goal, that target, it can help you to achieve it, to realize it,
Yeah. So, well, I think we've said that before on the podcast. We could write really strong financial plans for people, but if it doesn't serve what they're actually wanting to do or their goals, like they're not going to do it. They're not going to carry it out. Yeah. It has to serve their goals. So the 1.5 million is subjective because you have to consider what they're actually wanting to achieve with it. Yeah.
I think buying into it is a big thing, right, Tori? It's like you look at your client and you want to know, do you buy into this? Mm-hmm. Can we hold hands and go for it and really see that come to pass, to believe that we can do that? So it can go either way, but is it really the right thing to focus on? Like, should we be focusing on magic number, that special number? And I would say no, right? I think the answer is that we should focus on the income that you want.
That immediately feels better. It feels more right, more reasonable.
It's just not so rigid. Like
Yeah.
even you saying like the 4% rule, we use that a lot, but it's just a guideline as well, because ideally if you could spend more than 4% when you want to, like it's just a guideline. It's not so rigid. And if there's room for change or whatever, then I think most people would want that.
Right. And the reason that this is different for every person is, first of all, focusing on a big number. It's that's like the fruit, not the root. Like it's actually the fruit. It is, the root would be the big number, because we want the fruit of the income, right? So we're just talking about a formula. How much income can my investments produce for me? But everybody has a different amount of Social Security. Everybody has a different amount of, whether they have a pension or rental income. So you kind of want to start there.
Yeah, everybody's lifestyle and plan
And
is
different
so
lifestyles.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
you may way underspend compared to someone else, but you also have rental income, or whatever. Everyone's plan is so different.
Yeah. So focusing on the income, that's the answer. What income do I need to have the lifestyle that I want? What am I going to be doing with myself and my time when I'm no longer working? How will I handle the day? And what is it going to take to fund that, right? And I think that's the really important thing that all of us who are listening are working out, because people who listen to this show, I mean, this it's all about, we're getting ready to retire, or we're already the first few years into retirement, and we're getting acclimated so that we can kind of become comfortable with this idea of this new phase of life. Here's a quick break to tell you about a video I recently finished. The video is called 3 Ways to Reduce Taxes on Your Social Security Benefits. Up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed federally. And it's really a form of double taxation, because you paid tax on it every year that you contributed. So in this short video, I'm going to share 3 ways to reduce or eliminate taxes on your Social Security benefits. There's no cost to get that video. All you have to do is text us the letters SS to our office line, which is 214-988-9178, and we'll get that right to you. Again, it's text the letters SS, like Social Security, to 214-988-9178. We often mention getting to the point of retirement is a lot easier than getting through retirement. And that's what conversation is about, that magic number. To get to retirement, you just need to do a handful of things. You need to make sure
wealth accumulation, saving strategies, it's the stuff if you're dumping into your 401k, you're already started in some regard. Like those things that you're doing to save.
Save enough dollars. Yeah, your 401k. Don't put all of your money in one type of tax bucket. Like, those are some simple things you can do. Don't overpay in hidden fees. Make sure that you've got the proper insurances across the board. Those things are easy to do. But when you get to the point of retirement, it becomes a little bit less clear, because now, we've talked about managing a withdrawal strategy in other episodes. Which withdrawal strategy will you use when you're spending your money?
Income, yeah.
Are you being tax efficient about how you pull that money out? Are there hidden penalties on the tax situation? Because we talk about phantom taxes, which can be layered in there. It's also complicated because we're coordinating benefits. We've got Medicare, Social Security. Are we using the ACA for healthcare? And I think the biggest one is that we're really having a hard time staying the course, because we're more sensitive to everything that happens in our financial lives because we're no longer working, right? So at that point, we have to realize there's not really this one-size-fits-all solution for people, but there are some general things that we should all be doing. We should be tax efficient. We should know the order we're going to withdraw from our accounts, and
know the income you need.
There you go, the income.
Because some people don't even know that. They're like, I have no idea what I spend. I don't know. But there's some people, I met with someone recently who she was going to have her house paid off by retirement. Social Security was going to cover most of what she needed. There was no practical reason that she needed 1.5 million saved. Like that wouldn't have been the right number for her when you put together a plan. But if she was waiting for that, she'd never retire.
Well, once you,
that kind of thing, you need to know what you actually need coming in.
Once you realize you reach that income level, you're good to go, and that's what's exciting. So you want to know, how much do I need to fund my lifestyle, and then you could say, well, what's it going to take in terms of how much money do I need to fund from there? Because it might be, 3/4 of the amount that they stated, but it might be more depending upon your unique situation. So that's why we advocate having your plan in place way before you retire. Don't wait until a year before you retire to get your targets set in place.
Right. And so as we can see right from our chat here that, it's a great benchmark, but it's definitely not a one size fits all. So you want to basically have a personalized planning, have a personalized plan. Well, thank you everyone for listening and joining us today. We sure appreciate you and hope that you found some information in here helpful. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel like 1.5 million is the correct magic number, or do you think otherwise? Feel free to enter your thoughts in the comment section or send us a text message at 214-988-9178. And of course, we would love for you to share this episode with others. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, Nick Davis here. We have a vision to create a rewarding, fulfilling retirement journey for every individual. And we do that through creating well thought out financial plans. Now, if you want to create the next chapter experience filled with calmness and clarity for your life, then our team would love to visit with you about that. It all starts with a 15-minute discovery call that you can set up right there on your phone or your computer. All you have to do is click on the Let's Talk button that's on our website, brindleandbay.com. So you'll go to brindleandbay.com and click Let's Talk. Let's get the conversation started with a short phone call. We would welcome an opportunity to meet you.
Nick Davis is an investment advisor representative of Brindle & Bay Financial Advisors, a registered investment advisor. This show is for informational purposes only. Any exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered financial advice or recommendation to buy or sell a financial vehicle. You should consult a qualified financial, tax, or legal professional before taking any action. This program is not endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Insurance licensed in Texas, number 1188639. Brindle & Bay Wealth Management is affiliated with Brindle & Bay Financial Advisors.